Moving on, US President Donald Trump has said that he has demanded about 7 countries to send warships to keep the Strait of Hormuz open. However, his appeals have brought no commitment as oil prices continue to soar during the Iran war. The American president declined to name the countries that his administration is negotiating with to join a coalition to police the waterway. Speaking to reporters on Air Force One, he issued a warning to NATO.
Remember, like as an example, in many cases, the NATO countries, we're always there for NATO. We're helping them with Ukraine. And many, it's kind of notion that between us doesn't affect us, but we've helped them. It'd be interesting to see what country wouldn't help us with a very small endeavor, which is just keeping the strait open. And by comparison, it's small because Iran has very little firepower left.
In a brief interview with the Financial Times earlier, Trump said that NATO faces a very bad future if US allies fail to open the Strait of Hormuz. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has spoken to the US President, and according to Downing Street, they have discussed the ongoing situation and the importance of reopening the strait to end the disruption to global shipping. But a report in The Telegraph suggests that Starmer is refusing to send warships to help reopen the Strait of Hormuz. UK's Energy Secretary Edie Miliband has said that the government was intensively looking at what could be done to open the strait, but refused to offer a firm commitment. France and Germany have also signalled reluctance to answer to the US president's demand. But Trump isn't giving up. Not only has he warned NATO, but also pressed on China to help the opening up of the Strait of Hormuz, saying his upcoming summit in Beijing with his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping could be delayed. He said he would want to know Beijing's decision before the summit, noting that China as well as many European countries rely more than the US on oil flowing from the Gulf.
You go back and look at what I said years ago. I said, why aren't we maintaining the Hormuz Strait when it's really there for China and many other countries? Why aren't they doing it? And that's because we had weak leadership, to be honest with you. But I'm bringing it up now. So I think even long term, I think it's something that other countries should help us with.
All right, so those were the comments coming from Trump. But to discuss more on the West Asia conflict, we were earlier joined by Linda O'Donnell, who is a journalist and an author. Let's listen into the comments.
Many countries are caught between security alignment with the United States and their economic dependence on the Gulf for their energy resources. Trump's warnings come amid concerns amongst European states. If you're listening to the political programs over the weekend, what the politicians have been saying in the UK, for instance, and also in other European states, is that they don't know what President Trump's end game is. They don't know what his goal here is. None of that's been stated. And as we enter the 16th day of this conflict in the Gulf, what we're seeing is a spike in oil prices, which of course is going to happen amid uncertainty. So, I think that escorting ships through the Strait of Hormuz risks direct military confrontation with Iran, something that neither European nor Asian powers really, they don't want to risk it. There's a great reluctance there. And so we're seeing behind the scenes, as with President Macron of France's call with the Iranian foreign minister overnight, perhaps a two-track strategy amongst the allies, wanting to talk with Tehran to take a lower profile diplomatic approach to Iran, while at the same time paying lip service to President Trump. I mean, we know that President Trump can be venal and vengeful. We've already seen that in the more than 1 year since he's been in his second presidency. Countries, states, governments that do not go along with his demands have been slapped with very high tariffs that have damaged economies on both sides. Now, everybody is suffering from high and rising energy prices. So I think that this is a very it's a diplomatic balance that European and Asian countries are going to have to traverse.